Recently, a viewer shared how my content led them to a book that, though not considered magic, hugely impacted their progress. Inspired by that, I'll share a few titles that did the same for me in 2024. So whether you're an occultist, a self-improver, or a creator, this can help you start 2025 with fresh perspectives and ideas. For those new to my work, I go by the name of PLTB. I discuss esotericism, human potential, and creativity. Stick around if that sounds interesting, and if you need magic manuals and diagrams, visit my Etsy store as it likely has what you need. Psycho-Cybernetics. Being the one my viewer regarded, Psycho-Cybernetics needs no introduction. According to many, it is the original self-improvement science. According to me, its practices can complement those of modern occultists. Also called self-image psychology, Psycho-Cybernetics was invented by the plastic surgeon Maxwell Maltz. Its key concept is the self-image, which is a mental blueprint defining your character and personal conception. All feelings and experiences stay consistent with your self-image, leading to acting like the person you conceive yourself to be. It's kinda like a box beyond which you cannot really develop. Psycho-Cybernetics is a teleological approach viewing humans as future-oriented, goal-striving creatures, which, according to modern science, is our basic nature. It likens the mind to a servo mechanism always pursuing goals. However, this servo mechanism can work equally effectively toward both goals of success and of failure based on what is consistent with your self-image. The key is not attempting changes through overexertion of willpower, as this basically backfires. It is gradually redefining who you see yourself to be, and if that is not magic and alchemy, I don't know what is. Magic because you expand beyond and destroy self-limitations, navigating the principles of Hesed and Gebura. Alchemy because you quote-unquote melt and reshape metals, aka your hardwired notions. The courage to be disliked. Teleology and self-perception bring us to the courage to be disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. Based on Adlerian psychology, the book isn't a typical manual, but a conversation between a young person and a philosopher. Stuck in psychoanalytical or atheological dogmas, the first feels lost, but the philosopher reveals that is optional. Change is always available if we have courage, which Adler considers its prerequisite, whereas its lack thereof is the underlying cause for staying stuck in the past. Besides success, any change holds the potential for failure, humiliation, and criticism. It is really not what happened years ago, but the uncertainty and avoidance of this that hold us back. Courage is crucial for expanding beyond or reshaping a limiting self-image, which likely keeps you in the comfort zone, holding you back from assuming a lifestyle that actually suits your purpose. Individual psychology doesn't recognize fixed personality types. It posits that we choose lifestyles, including worldviews. It just so happens that sometimes, due to circumstances, we do so poorly. Supporting such a perspective, modern studies show that intro and extroversion are actually quite biased and cannot be validated through concrete research. Adler considers individuals the most basic monad of society. He stresses the importance of building horizontal, not vertical relationships. In that regard, perceiving others as comrades or enemies majorly impacts your life quality. Individual psychology invites us to never forget we are part of something bigger and seek its voice. A giant community beyond nations and organizations encompassing nature and the planets and the stars. All of us belong to the community of the Earth and the community of the universe. It is not a fantasy, it is a fact. The community Adler speaks of goes beyond things like we see, like our households and society, to include those connections that we cannot see." Unquote. Now, I don't know about you, but this kinda reminds me of Anima Mundi, the soul of the world, such as individuals being stars in its body. Especially since the Book of the Law was created in 1904, whereas Adlerian psychology in 1912. Seek. After checking it twice in a bookstore on a vacation, I decided to not get this book. Thankfully, my girl disagreed. Written by curiosity expert Scott Shigeoka, Seek refreshes our perspectives on curiosity. Though often limited to intellect, curiosity is actually a superpower that can be channeled in various ways. This includes emotional curiosity for improving understanding and social skills. Curiosity has three cardinal directions intersecting with each other. Inward, which has to do with our inner worlds. Magically, you can think of the elements, alchemy, and personal level of consciousness. Outward, or deepening our understanding of others and the world around us. Consider interpersonal level, planets, and Adlerian psychology's insights on comrades and enemies. Beyond, which implies seeking divinity and self-transcendence, perhaps think of the zodiac signs. How you use one informs how you use the others. Using all three deliberately makes you a quote-unquote true seeker, and to help you become one, the author provides a practical framework called DIVE. This includes D, detach or let go of your ABCs or assumptions, biases, and certainty. I, intent or prepare your mind and setting. V, value or seeing the dignity of each individual, including yourself. And E, embrace the hard times in your life. The goal of Dive is to let you form connections despite differences, understanding and appreciating others. Additionally, Seek offers incredible cross-referential research through science, culture, indigenous wisdom, and the author's experiences. As a writer and researcher, I find it vastly underrated, so do not sleep on it. Flow. Another work that needs no introduction is Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's Flow. Subtitled The Psychology of Optimal Experience, it identifies entropy and chaos as the universe's default state. Bad things happen not because nature or the universe hates you, they do because it is indifferent. Flow psychology acknowledges Freud's discovery of the constant pressure between primordial urges and societal expectations. However, it distinguishes itself from psychoanalysis as it doesn't recognize obeying the pleasure principle and submitting to those as a path to freedom and fulfillment. It views enjoyment as the key. It advocates psychic negentropy or ordering our minds to eventually reflect in our lives. And occultists can think of this as bringing the Godhead down and making the divine law prevail in the kingdom of the shades. It is investing our attention or psychic energy in autotelic experiences. Also called flow states, these are mainly driven by intrinsic motivation and require two things. 1. Skills and mastery, and 2. Clear-cut goals and regulations. Such experiences make the ego step back in favor of the autotelic self. The more we enjoy them, the more we increase the complexity of ourselves, reaching new states of being. Flow states provide structure. They replace hopelessness and boredom with control and purpose. They free us from randomness and service of external goals. This can result in the sense of uniting or connecting with entities which the author calls the other, while occultists may suggest are egregores or group minds of all the people involved in a particular thing. In contrast, Csikszentmihalyi affirms they come from the activity itself, as discussed in my video on autotelic experiences. The Creative Act. Considered the Creativity Bible, Rick Rubin's masterpiece was one of the books I both read and actually listened to, and if you're paying attention, I refer to it a lot. It views everyone as a creator, emphasizing that creativity is not exclusive to artists. By understanding this, we can design our lives and identities to reflect our purpose. Rubin grants us the freedom to break free from conventions and come up with our own techniques and methods for expressing ideas. By practicing to improve, we are fulfilling our ultimate purposes, and more on that is in my video on boosting creativity through the 4 Kabbalistic worlds. The act of creation is a communication between the past, the present, and the future, yet the piece is never really finished. One of the skills an artist develops is the ability to recognize when either they or the work have nothing left to give each other. Rubin stresses that all ideas and inspiration are external. They come from a vast pool of resources available to us. It is what we make out of them that makes us unique. And there are 2 occult principles that this resonates with. 1. The notion that the individual is an expression of the universal. And 2. The Kabbalistic concept that the higher we go on the tree of life, the more we are one. So it's really the action we take as individuals that creates a change. Rubin identifies several types of creators. Some pre-plan everything before starting, others figure things out as they go, letting actions inform ideas and vice versa. And the third group creates without technical skills, using those of someone else or an AI. Let me know to which group you belong. The Way of the Wheel. Getting into Magick back in 2018, I looked for readily applicable information. A source that quickly stood out was David Shoemaker's Living Telema podcast and book. Building on those, The Way of the Wheel advocates identifying your excesses in the Kabbalistic tree of life and emphasizing their opposites to achieve balance, an approach invented by Phyllis Sequard, the author's teacher. Like Rubin, Shoemaker recognizes creativity extends beyond art. He notes that all art involves transmutation of the ineffable into manifest. Engagement with superconsciousness or neshama increases the directness of creativity. It encourages occultists to pursue particular careers while creatives focus on their crafts. For the latter, the source of their art is really their angel's voice, manifesting not through ceremonies, but their actual work. Creators fall in love with their vision, practitioners with goals, perfectly aligned with their life purpose. Let me know to which group you belong. Last but not least, The Way of the Wheel stresses that 1. No spiritual practice can make up for a poor lifestyle or actual medical help when that is needed, and 2. No medical or spiritual aid can replace a proper lifestyle, diet, and exercise. And as covered in my review of the book, I really think this is a healthy reminder many need to hear. Man's Search for Meaning. Written in the concentration camps, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning outlines the basis of logotherapy, an existential analysis centered in teleology. Logotherapy helps people find existential meaning or reason, which it views as our main driving force. This meaning cannot be given externally, you must determine it for yourself. In psychoanalysis, you lie on a couch opening up about things that may be uncomfortable and somewhat disturbing. In logotherapy, you may sit erect, actually hearing such things. A common approach is asking you, why wouldn't you commit a suicide? Answering it helps you extract one or multiple reasons forming your actual life purpose. Quote, man's search for meaning is the primary motivation in his life and not a secondary rationalization of instinctual drives. This meaning is unique and specific in that it must be fulfilled by him and can be fulfilled by him alone. Only then does he achieve a significance that will satisfy his own will to meaning. The search for meaning often generates tension vital for mental health, and it's also that tension that fuels the search. While focused on the future, logotherapy ascribes a very special meaning to the past, which is probably my favorite part. Potentialities are transitory, existing for a limited time. By actualizing, we eternalize them in the past where nothing is irretrievably lost and everything is irrevocably stored. And such a perspective makes us accountable for all our choices and sacrifices. Man constantly makes his choice concerning the mass of his present potentialities, which of these will be condemned to non-being and which will be actualized, which choice will be made an actuality once and forever, an immortal footprint in the sense of time. At any moment, man must decide for better or for worse what will be the monument of his existence. Man's Search for Meaning, page 97. Those living recklessly are depressed seeing another day gone. Those living responsibly can look back on a collection of potentialities they actualized. More on that is in my video on logotherapy. The Daily Stoic. A real treasure trove, the Daily Stoic has a reflection or meditation for all days of the year. Under each, Ryan Holiday provides a brief explication and fascinating insights. While I marked most pages, several concepts really stood out. Although they didn't have news and social media, if they were to seek it, Stoics would find plenty of information to disappoint and disturb them. Instead, they deliberately kept themselves ignorant of such distractions while constantly reminding themselves they were mortal. This saved them from meaningless distractions or things beyond their control, letting them focus on purposeful living as they aimed to live each day like it was their last. While many Stoics deemed luxuries evil, Seneca enjoyed them without fear of losing them. To me, the Stoics' biggest power is never focusing on things beyond their control, nor letting one misfortune influence other aspects of their lives and basically spread like a disease. Instead, they isolated those, adding as little of an opinion as possible and focusing on what could be done. The more hardcore Stoics cherished all experiences, essentially practicing the Nietzschean amor fati. This is similar to Thelemites who adore all events as part of New Age ecstasy. Alternatively, others cultivated indifference. This allowed them to keep their inner peace and tranquility even in hardships. I found the second to be more practical, considering what folk psychology told us about nature and the universe, and I'll be happy to know your thoughts. Recap. Otherwise, which of these books resonate most with you? Share the titles below. Complementing each other's insight, they help me massively on my journey as a creator and occultist. Though I'm not sponsored, I firmly believe you won't regret getting them all and discovering meanings that resonate with you. But that's just my opinion. Check my manuals and links in the description. Subscribe, have a blessed 2025, and thank you for your time.